after Woodstock '94, Green Day definitely became a household name almost, overnight.
Green Day arrived, and there was a coronation in the press and burning at the stake in private.
There was a huge uproar in the local punk scene.
When a punk band gets big, the punk police come out. Kids can be vicious, man.
They were beaten down. They were tired. They were angry.
It was really painful, but those three really grew tighter together from that.
Right after Dookie came out, they wanted to get in and make another record.
Creatively, the band said, we want to prove to people that we are the punk rockers that we set out to be.
They really made their most abrasive, aggressive punk rock record they've ever made.
Insomniac was a departure from Dookie.
It shows their rage. It shows their anger. There's a song on there, it's called 86, that deals directly with them not being welcomed back into what they thought of as their home.
They were done with what their local community had to say about them.
For them, the most punk rock thing they could do was to show that they didn't listen to anyone else.
They were like, we're doing what we want to do, and if you don't like it, that's your problem.
After Insomniac touring wrapped up, they were definitely burnt out, and they needed some time off.
It was probably about 5 months that they actually took off and didn't do Green Day.
I've been waiting a long time for this moment to come.
They were kind of working on establishing their own lives and families.
They had kids and 3 brand new wives.
I can't erase this feeling.
We're pretty devoted to our home and our families, so it makes going on tour that much harder, yet that's what we know how to do. And if there's anything that we have to offer or to give is playing music.
It wasn't much of a break because they were back in the studio in '96 recording Nimrod.
Hey, mister, where you headed? Are you in a hurry?
Nimrod was the third album. That album was a level of maturity.
I'll pop the wagon out of bed and ride.
The mantra on that one was, no holds barred, do whatever comes.
Billy said, I got this song, and I think I might want to put it on the record. And he played us this song, and I was completely blown away.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go.
It was the acoustic ballad, which when he first started, he would never do.
He felt like it was time that he could finally show people that side of his writing.
It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
Good Riddance hit the airwaves, and it was off the hook.
The song took off and was huge.
Everybody related to that song.
They played it at the World Series. It was in the final episode of Seinfeld.
I hope you had the time of your life.
#1 wedding song of the year. Even though it always makes me laugh that the song is not written about hope you had the time of your life. From a good point of view, it's actually a big you. But
After that kind of big success, people, expect you to top it. So they went back in and did Warning, maybe even sooner than they kind of wanted to.
Warning was a troubling time for all of them individually and also as a group.
In any rock and roll band, it's like a marriage. You're sharing work, art, creativity, and recreational time together. So there's always going to be rocky periods.
Billy's like a workaholic, and his mind is set on, well, what am I going to write next? It's a heavy responsibility, and sometimes I think he felt like he could get more support and negative feelings start to creep in.
I don't think Billy Joe felt like he was able to share his songs and things like that without being criticized.
I walk a lonely road, the only one that I have ever known.
He felt like, I don't know if I can share my music, I don't know if I want to do this. And then the light bulb went off in Billy's head, and he said, I don't know, maybe I should go solo. Near the end of Warning, they stopped talking.
They did break down as a group for a while.
They took a period of time off after Warning, nearly 2 years.
I'm sure that the thought crossed their mind, am I even going to be in this band anymore? What's going to happen next?
They were either going to have to break up or figure it out.
Near the end of Warning, Green Day stopped talking and there was that breakdown.
It's easy to be in love with each other as friends, 15 years ago when it's all about drinking beer and playing rock and kicking ass.
5 records later, the question starts to be, well, who the am I now? What am I going to write about? It's a heavy responsibility. Mike and Trey know that the songs are going to come from Billy, but it's tough if somebody feels like he's pulling a lot of weight. All that stuff turns into negativity where you're like, well, it then. I don't know if I can work with these guys.
I walk this empty street on the boulevard of broken dreams.
They had to relearn how to be friends with each other.
The way to do it was to go through and uncover all the things that hadn't been said and, all the fears and the paranoia and whatever the hell it is, that are in there.
I walk alone.
Billy Joe was able to tell them about his fears and his hesitance with bringing music and ideas. And they finally were able to sort of form this bond with each other and create without feeling restricted.
I walk alone, I walk up. My shadow's only one that walks beside me.
They realized that they really did inspire each other. They're 3 best friends that have been playing music together for over 15 years, and they want to do that for the rest of their lives.
There was a renewed sort of spirit that made them feel like, you know what, we're the greatest rock band in the world, and we're going to prove it.
Right after that, they spent a lot of time working and writing.
Green Day were holed up in a studio in Oakland.
There was a new fire in them that I had not seen before.
They just were able to meet up in this great place again and willing to bring all of their individuality to the table with confidence.
It actually was more collaborative. It was a way they could all contribute and express different parts of their personality in music.
When that happened, the floodgates opened, and they were able to create this amazing record. They found their voice to sort of really say how they feel.
Like my promise come to pass. 20 years has gone so fast.
Billy was faced with the biggest challenge of his career because it's like, can you actually put yourself out there, expose your heart and your mind to such a degree that it's shocking even to yourself? Billy Joe wrote a song called American Idiot.
We're in such a politically charged climate in the world.
There was a lot of American pride at that time, and, Dixie Chicks got in trouble for putting down President Bush.
And no punk bands were saying anything about it.
Green Day's position was, I don't want to be an American idiot. I don't want to be somebody who just follows blindly.
Don't want to be an American idiot.
Even though they did it with metaphor and they did it very poetically, they made a strong statement. And I think it was very gutsy.
The subliminal mind, America.
That was the song which you could hang, an entire statement on. And we realized, why don't we set the bar as high as we possibly can and actually turn this into a punk rock opera?
They had the idea to make a whole story around like a concept record.
It's actually songs that go in order that all add up to a particular statement.
They didn't know how it was going to be received, but I know for themselves they felt like really proud of what they had done.
There's no question that they took a big risk making a punk rock opera.
They were putting everything on the line for this record, creatively and personally. It pushed their personal relationships to the breaking point.
Trey was going through just a really tough divorce.
And then, Mike's relationship fell apart.
And there was some strain between Billy and Adrian because he just had to put his whole mind, body, heart, and soul into making the record.
I think it challenged us to a new level. It pushed us pretty far, the farthest I ever want to go.
There were definitely times I remember looking at the band and the band looking at me and kind of going like, is this torture worth this?
American Idiot was released in September of 2004.
American Idiot debuted at #1, sold 267,000 records the first week.
I always thought the Dookie was their tour de force, And then here they are 10 years later to make their great record. That's really something.
The 47th Annual Grammy Award.
When the Grammy nominations started coming in for the record, it was incredible.
And the Grammy goes to American Idiot, Green Day.
I almost jumped out of my skin when they called Green Day's name for Best Rock Record. It was awesome.
We were so happy. It was very exciting.
Rock and roll can be dangerous and fun at the same time, so thanks a lot.
They really felt like that people had taken notice, and it really showed that 10 years later, this could be a band that is actually more like the Rolling Stones than like the Ramones.
It's a huge challenge to try to maintain mega stardom. The best you can do is sort of continue following your own heart and your own vision and inspiration.
Where you go, you know I'll be there.
And like we've seen with American Idiot, the world comes around again if you just are true to who you are.
They've never been people to look to the outside for approval of what they did.
It's always been them against the world.
I'll be there for you.
They don't care what people think. They didn't get to this point by kissing anyone's ass.
To see it go from almost not being a band to the heights, it's actually an amazing life story.
They're all still incredibly excited by what they do.
I think their drive is more intense now than ever.
They've gotten back to doing exactly what they do best, which is just make really great music.
I'll be there for you.